Ladies and gentlemen, we are proud to announce our spring special and spectacular savings on our Lunching for Love program. Various packages include everything that is necessary to have your horse smooching on you and begging to ride in a minute. Most important is our universal love extension that will give you the spiritual dimension to reach your horse's heart instantly. Notice the power modules that enhance the love for your horse. The green one draws power from the grass the horse eats, and the white one keeps your heart pure and allows you to touch your inner self. Even the end is loaded with love. Also included in our Lunching for Love program is our vinyl-clad steel frame throne of enchantment that allows you to relax your inner self when lunching your horse. Naturally, it comes with matching power modules and a lifetime warranty. For those working with a stallion, we have a deluxe model to power extra energy to them. As we know, some animals are connected galactically with Mars and some with Venus. As the horse is connected with Mars, the man must wear a beard. Of course, via the women, we have a wide selection of special beard accessories. Englander women must naturally be particular when choosing one that does not create possible international disharmony. Our Western program is designed especially for those who enjoy the rough and tumble cowboy scene. The boots are spiritually enhanced with supernatural eagle flakes and traces of the mystical Tibetan mouse feathers. The additional macho cowboy kit with the celestial gun that shoots love dreams includes a magic lariat and the Western happy spurs that are an exact replica of those used by the famous cowboy Baker's belt. All this can be purchased for a mere $19.95 plus $849 for shipping and handling. For those that enjoy dressing up fancy, our classical program is just what you need. There is no denying that the classical sports enjoy a ritzy euphoria in the horse world. Notice here how everything seems to flow with soothing energy of universal harmony as nature intended. The classical boots come in both black and brown. The brown ones seem to meld better with the classical spurs that are sure to tickle the heart and fancy of any horse. They are an exact duplicate of those worn by King Dewey Cheatham of Lower Bologna in 1456. Of course, there are some horses in this world that simply do not enjoy classical sports. But in just a few minutes with our Lunching for Love program, they learn to enjoy the universal love for it. The brown boots has the advantage of either going classical, or for those that need a more happy-go-lucky approach, you can go bohemian and let your hair down to nurture your free spirit as much as you want. Also included in our spring special is a one-time offer that entitles anyone purchasing either the classical or the Western program to a whole hour of on-site tutoring with the master of the supernatural for not $25,000, not $10,000, but a mere $3,000. So get your order in today. Some doomcops have insinuated that our love extension is a VIP. Gott an Himmel 999. Anyone that loves their horse can see that it is only used as an extension of love, and sometimes to point to the parts of the horse we love the most. Offer void and prohibited wherever common sense, an open mind, and a caring heart prevail. Between the end of the Civil War and the turn of the century, it's said that about 30,000 men drove over 6 million cattle from Texas to Kansas and other northern markets. Though their origins were steeped in the Spanish vaquero, the early cowboys of the American West developed a personal culture of their own, a blend of frontier and Victorian values, with a good dose of chivalry. Such hazardous work in isolated conditions forged a tradition of self-reliant individualism, with great value placed on personal honesty. Making your word good was a way of life, not a crusade. And as such, they redefined the epitome of freedom, nobility of heart, and internal fortitude. Trail drives were dangerous and filled with a myriad of hardships. They worked from dawn to dusk, through rain, sleet, hail, and burning blistering sun. There was always the chance of being thrown from their horse, bitten by a snake, gored by a rank cow or bull, attacked by a wild animal, shot by a rustler, struck by lightning, crushed by a stampede, or attacked by a marauding Indian. Too sick and too tired simply weren't in their vocabulary, and any serious medical help in those remote areas was unheard of. Though romanticized by Hollywood in later years, it's no small wonder that our unique American cowboy culture is globally recognized as a symbol of our American values. Even many of our presidents were personally drawn to that culture. How appropriate that the bronze statues of that culture in the center of Dallas are larger than life. Perhaps their long-lasting popularity may in good part be due to the fact that we have a tendency to hold fast to the good things in life. From my very earliest childhood memories, cowboys were always my heroes. My idols were Lash Maru, Red Ryder, Tom Mix, Gene Autry, Roy Rogers, and many others. They were the straight shooters who fought for freedom and justice for the defenseless and the downtrodden. By the time I was 5, I had already worn out my stick horse, my rocking horse, my Red Ryder BB gun, and gotten quite a few licks for trying to sneak rides in my grandfather's huge draft mare. Although hopelessly obsessed, I still had no horse to ride like the cowboys. In desperation, it led me to possibly being the first 8-year-old forerunner to use positive reinforcement and ride bitless bareback. But maybe it doesn't count, as my mount was a Jersey cow named Little Red, much like this one. The only equipment I needed to ride her was a handful of feed to coax her close to the fence so I could scurry up on her back, and an old cornstalk for impulsion, which she mostly ignored. She was selected by the process of elimination. The Holsteins were just a bit too intimidating, and the Angus steer my dad was raising for the dinner table expressed an uncommon ability to extricate me from his back to an altitude that made landing extremely uncomfortable. Will Red and I rode elbow to elbow with my cowboy heroes all that summer, fighting outlaws, rustlers, and Indians, and making countless cattle drives. She died that following winter of cancer, but as long as I live, I will never forget her tolerance and compassion, helping a small boy live his dream. A few decades later, I got into horses full time, and being so inclined at such an early age, I naturally had to ride Western. It wasn't long after that I heard someone mention that their horses ran to the round pen to work out. My first thought was, yeah, right, that'll be the day. You know how your mind keeps coming back to something even though you don't want it to? Folks call it a burr under your saddle. I kept wondering how and why any horse would ever come running to a round pen to work. Well, it turned out I was asking the wrong question. A few weeks later, my horses seemed overjoyed to work out in the round pen, inside of it and outside of it. All I really did was try to see things from their point of view and use a little positive reinforcement. That was easy, and it was fun, too. Before that, I'd become completely immersed in the camaraderie of others who were members of that elite group of humans who referred to themselves as mounted, and it gave me a deep feeling of belonging to something larger than myself. It allowed me to share many of the same experiences of those cowboy traditions I had so admired. With but one caveat, I still do, and I always will. With that one instance of initially scoffing at what I thought was a ridiculous-sounding remark, then later re-examining it and finally learning it was entirely true, started me on a path that led to many inconvenient truths. Some were things that were right under my nose that I'd never really thought about. And there were some things that I'd never questioned because the experts said that's the way it was always done. Eventually, that path revealed more than a few paradoxical revelations that directly contradicted nearly everything I'd previously learned about horses. In the next 3 decades, I pursued learning everything I could about horses with a vengeance, but not from trainers, and not from the local feed store. Look, let's suppose your car starts lurching and bucking. One repair shop says, it's the transmission. Another one says, no, it's the ignition. And a third one says it's the brakes, and so on, which eventually can be quite confusing. But when we go to those who study and design cars, we get a deeper knowledge of the car itself. And maybe we learn better how to care for it and prevent problems rather than fix them. It's the same with horse trainers. When our sources of knowledge come from equine ethologists, nutritionists, and equine research scientists, we gain a much deeper understanding of our horse's mental, emotional, and physical needs. We also find out what is the real cause of all those horse training problems and behavioral issues, and how to prevent them, rather than cause them and then try to find solutions. Many decades ago, in the last chapter of one of his books, a renowned horseman and equestrian judge stated, "Never accept things as they are merely because that's the way they are. Never become complacent. Think, question, analyze, test everything, take nothing for granted." I have learned so much that initially contradicted my beliefs, but eventually proved to be true in what was really best for my horse. Not just about training, the type of relationship we share with our horses, but nutrition and hoof care and conditioning and living environment and learning theory and social needs and homeopathy and saddle fit and many other areas that directly affect our horse's well-being. And I never want to stop learning. I want to give my horse every opportunity to live a happy, stress-free life as long as we both live. And perhaps that may be the defining measure of how we truly love our horse. For if we cannot invest a little time to learn how to care for them and see things how they see them, we become doomed to doing the same things over and over and expecting different or better results. Admittedly, it does require a bit of internal fortitude. For the more we search and learn for the betterment of our horse, the more we drift from the mainstream norm of horse ownership and usage. In time, I was forced to choose between what is best for my horse and my riding friends. I chose my horse. There's a discussion group with members from all over the world who share those sentiments and continue to seek what is actually best for their horse. I'm Chuck Mintzlaff, and if you're of the same heart and mind, email me at naturalhorse101@AOL.com. No gurus, no horse whispers, I promise.